back in town, on a red baby, don't make me wait. Body like, been a long while, and I just wanna taste this be alone. I put it down when I come around. We won't sleep no way.
Welcome back to Talking Smack. Today I have my friend Sara here. I'm really excited for us to dive into kind of all the aspects of being a beauty business owner, pivoting, talking about training. There's so much for us to cover. We might be here for a while.
Yeah.
But if you want to introduce yourself, tell us your business name, where people can find you.
Yeah, I'm Sara. I have a salon in Edmonds. Like, we're neighbors.
We're so close.
Yeah. Hi, neighbor.
We need to do lunch more. Why don't we do lunch?
I know. I don't know.
Life is busy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Mhm.
And I'm only here 3 days a week. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like hard to navigate. But my salon is Lavandula Beauty, and I am a brow lamination trainer. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So fun.
Yeah.
So did you go out on your own right after school, or did you work somewhere in between?
So I did work for so I did start my own business going out of school, but I did work in somebody else's salon.
Okay.
So I rented a room and shared it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so when you started, you did all the things. Is that right?
Mm-hmm, yeah. So I feel like everyone in this industry kind of does that. You
Mhm.
start and you kind of do everything under the sun, hoping that you'll just get anybody in your chair. But yeah, for a while there, I was doing like a lot of things that I
Mhm.
didn't want to do.
Mhm. And then you start to narrow it down. You start to realize kind of what you want to specialize in, what you actually like doing most.
Exactly.
And so I know we have actually had dinner before in the past,
Mhm.
and we kind of talked about that a little bit. But so you were doing mainly lashes, and you have recently or within the last year really transitioned to brow laminations. Tell
Yeah.
us about like how brow laminations blew up and how you kind of have honestly pioneered in this area,
Mhm.
really bringing them to become more popular and kind of focusing on that in your business now.
Yeah, I feel like, I first started seeing it on Instagram, and it's really common in like European countries.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is this service? Because I always loved to do brows. I knew that
Mhm.
was the one thing. And I feel like it was once COVID hit and we came back, I was super burnt out on lashes. I didn't want to do it anymore. And before COVID, yeah, it was like strictly lashes because I had moved here in 2019 and I was like trying to do whatever I can because I was in a new city. So, yeah, I feel like seeing it, and then I was just noticing it wasn't in Washington yet. I think there was like one other person who did it, and yeah, I did online training, and it really is. It's an amazing service because it's also like your income is so much better because, I mean, if you do an eyebrow, it's like $30, but compared to like, I mean, I charge $130 now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it has like really escalated my business quickly.
That's so cool.
So yeah. And it's a really like satisfying service. I feel like a lot of things we do are satisfying, but this is like,
it's so cool
so
how much you
fun.
can like transform their face just by giving someone a brow lamination. I remember the first couple brow lams I saw on Instagram. I was like, this is so ugly.
You're like,
I'm like,
"Ee."
these are gross.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, can you laminate my 10 eyebrow hairs? Like, I like them like up like that. But now, like, I think a couple of those were just people already had really full brows and they were just going straight up with them instead of actually like sculpting them to where you want to. And you've really perfected the brow lamb, and like I'm obsessed. Every single reel I see of yours or picture post, I'm like, how could she make these look any better? Like, these are so bomb.
Thank you.
And so now you're training in brow lambs. Are you training for a company or are you on your own training?
So I'm actually on my own. I am a brand ambassador with London Brow.
Oh, okay.
But I do provide a kit with like everything that I love. So it can range from different brands. Well, I kind of want to go back a little bit because I want to let you know that you taught me that it's really important to push and promote what you want to be doing. And then people who your clientele that you want are going to flock to you. And I feel like that's like, I think we went to dinner once and you told me, you're like, why are you posting about lashes if you don't want to do lashes? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know, content?
Yeah. No, literally, it was just for content. And I was like, just because it's content doesn't mean it's like exactly what you want to be pushing. And I feel like, yeah, like beginning of this year was when I really focused on pushing brows. And that's when I closed my lash books, started posting brows. And then that's when I was like, I could teach this because I had so many people in my DMs being like, you need to teach me this. And I was like,
I love the way you do it. I want to learn from you.
Totally. So I was like, well, hold on, because I needed to like, I'm very like a perfectionist, which I'm trying to work on, but I'm like, I need theory and like the kits and just everything. So I really just had to like sit down for a week and like really figure out pricing on everything. So it's kind of a lot to start to be a trainer and an educator basically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What gave you the confidence to go after it?
Honestly, I feel like confidence comes later. Like I was very scared to do it.
Well, I'm sure too with people in your DMs, like that's just validation. Like to you, showing that like, okay, you have something that people want to learn and they're reaching out to you asking if you do it. And so it's like, okay, well, if they believe in me, kind of, it's like a little like ego boost.
Yeah. So, and I honestly, I did have like someone be like, why would you do that? And I was like, oh, you're right. And it got in my head. I was like, yeah, like actually, why would I do that?
Yeah.
And I'm very easily like, yeah, actually I shouldn't. And then I'm like, you know, why?
It's really easy to let outside influences like make you feel like you can't do those things. Or like for me, anytime that has happened to me, anything is said, I'm like, oh, that's right. Who am I to think that I can train? Or who am I to think that I can do this? How did you overcome that?
I feel like you just wake up one day and you're ready to, like fuck it. And you're ready to just live life for yourself and especially in business. Like I was young. I started my business and I was 18. Like I didn't know anything. And it's just like you have to believe in yourself and just kind of like root for yourself because I feel like no one else will if you don't.
Exactly. So. And I feel like you have to be willing to learn too. I think just being an entrepreneur, you're learning things every single day about the business and navigating all of that. And so when you did start training and started to train more and like gain that confidence, how has that affected your time taking clients? Are you still taking clients full time, or are you kind of shying away to focus more on training to have more free time?
So I started in January. I started working 3 days a week just so I could have that fourth day if I wanted to. So I've been doing like one training a month or so. But yeah, I'm still seeing like I kind of shifted it that way so I could do that. But I hope eventually. The only problem is that my space is very small. It's like 350 square feet. So I can only take so many people in there at once. So my hope is to in the future have a bigger space and then be able to work less and see clients less, even though I do love my clients. They're probably listening.
I know it's tough.
It's hard.
Well, and I think too, like you've utilized your space so well. And like me, when I started training, I was in my 110 square foot space. That was a salon suite. And it's like, I think so many people think I have to have the big commercial space before I train, or I need to do this before whatever. But if there are people reaching out to you and wanting to learn something from you, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it, because if you're giving them that transformation and you're helping them achieve their goals or what they're looking for, or at least getting them on the right path. And, you know, especially like with us, I think we both offer mentorship with everything too. Like if they have questions or want to send us like sets of anything, it's so nice to know that like you actually care. And I feel like being a trainer, you need to have so much emphasis on really making sure that, you know, you're setting them up for success.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you feel like, do you have any tips for anyone who wants to be a trainer, or anything that you would say to your past self that would have helped you, you know, further along than
honestly, like you said, fuck it. Like you really just have to go for it and you're never going to be ready.
Yeah.
So that's really it. Like just don't let your own self-doubt hold you back. If you feel like you're qualified in something and you can pass that along to somebody else. And I feel like it goes down to like the community really, and like how it really should be a community instead of like competition. That's another thing about our industry that, I mean, that's why we had that event. It's like we want to be friends and to pass along the success. So yeah, just really like just to go for it. And I mean, if it's not to the success that you want it to be, you still tried and gave it your all.
And you learned. Like that's such a big thing too that I've kind of taken away from any failure that I've had. I don't even really look at it as a failure.
It's like your own, like you think it's your own failure, but no one's going to look at it and be like, no, you failed. Like,
well, and if anybody's doing that, they clearly don't have enough going on in their life to actually like, when they're focusing so much on somebody else. So this networking event, I was lucky enough to go. It was so cool. What brought upon it? Just really, you wanted to create like something for the community, and like, how did you plan that? How did you get the booth, like vendors? Like, what did that look like?
So I did it with my friend MacKenzie, and she actually is fairly new to the industry, and she came to me and she was like, I want to do this. So I can't take all the credit. Like she really was like, I want to do this. And I was like, that is awesome. And I would love to be a part of it. And we really just like asked around, or like we posted about it, and we kind of got a feel for like people in the industry and what they thought. And then we used our resources. Like I'm connected with Hydropeptide and just like figuring out if they wanted to be a part of it. And it just,
those goodie bags were insane. I was not expecting full-size products. I was like,
me either.
I don't need to buy skincare for a little while.
A really long time. Yeah, like those deluxe samples and then like the 2 full products. I was like, wow, this is like, we just had so much support. And that was so cool to see, because I feel like it's not a common thing. Like that wasn't something that has happened. Like I feel like you did your Lash meetup. Like I actually think that's when I met you.
Yes, I think that was the first
your
time
Lash
we met
meetup.
in person.
Yeah. So I feel like that it's not common for like our industry or aesthetics to like want to get together. And I feel like that was why it was easy for us to like find the vendors. And just, I mean, we both wanted it to be where like people can come and just like shop, and like we're not just standing around and being like, hey, like, you know, so just it was nice. Yeah. We're just like, so what do you do? Yeah. But it was really cool to like sit back, because I always get very stressed like doing certain things like that. I'm like, is it even going to be good? Are people going to have fun? Yeah. Are they going to feel supported? And sitting back and looking at everybody and hearing people talk like, oh, I'm from here and I do this. And I was like, it was so cool to see, because we only have Instagram really for us to do that. So I met so many estheticians that I've never talked to face to face, but I talk to all the time on Instagram. So that was really it. We just wanted to like provide that for everybody.
It was so cool. I loved like being able to meet everyone too. And like it was so cute, and like the food and the champagne and then your balloon arch and like the little backdrop where we could take photos. And what I thought was so cool is you had a photographer there to take headshots. That was an extra I think it was an extra $15 or something. Like
we wanted it to make it like really affordable, so people would feel like, oh yeah, like obviously I'm gonna get a headshot for $15. And love Tiana, she's great.
It was so cool. And like, I hope you do more of those and make it like a yearly thing or quarterly thing or something.
I think that's what we're wanting to do, is do it every year. And it was nice. It was, you know, and a lot of people were like, did you make money off of that? And I was like, that wasn't the point. Yeah. Like it was like to bring everybody together. And we were fine with providing everything that we provided for you guys, because it was so cool to see it happen.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, transitioning back to work. More like service stuff. So I know that you were doing lashes pretty heavily and then wanting to switch into kind of specializing in brows. How many lash clients do you still have? How did you have that conversation to kind of let them go to free up more space for brow clients?
So I actually stopped. I took lash, a full set, off my menu. And then it was kind of, I was aware that I was going to have a few people that I've seen for years and people who have said like, you're going to do my lashes forever. And I didn't necessarily like be like, okay, bye. You know, but I have about 4 lash clients left. So it's just, at the end of the day, I feel like they're going to be listening. But at the end of the day, it's not my favorite thing to do. I still do love like the art aspect behind it. And
like if you were to take like a model set here and there, but not have like consistent clients all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm not sure where the future of that goes, because I would love to have just all brows, like specifically laminations.
That's so fun.
So I think, you know, as much as I am like a perfectionist, or like I'm very good at making decisions when I know that I'm ready. So I think just one day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be over it.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. Love you guys.
No
or
more.
Like, you know, like
you
I
tell
said,
them like, this is your last fill, by the way. See
I'm
ya.
like, so by the way, Sally down the road. She's going to do your lashes now.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I think it's just, I mean, like I said, I would love to have a bigger space and have employees. So if that was something that they would be comfortable with, that would be awesome. If I had just a lash tech and hire people to do the things that I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah. Will you still do facials, do you think?
I do love facials. That is one thing that I have found that I love, like this last year. I love like the break in between my day. So probably, I would probably stick to doing facials as well. And maybe going into that a little heavier. But for at the end of the day, like brows are my tried and true. Like I love them. So
was there anything scary about doing brows in the beginning? Or did you ever like mess somebody up when you first started waxing brows?
You know, honestly, like I cannot think of, I think maybe
you've
like
just been a natural artist from day one.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. No, I think like I look back at photos even when I first moved here, and I'm like, damn, those are dark. Like, what was I thinking? Tin. Yeah. But like the shape overall, I think has kind of always been like a natural thing. My mom's an artist, so I feel like I have that eye to things. But yeah, I don't know. I really hope that I never like sent someone home and they're like crying about their eyebrows. That's like my biggest fear in the world.
I remember I microbladed someone's brows and she was adamant about having them very dark and like had them here and kept having me add more strokes and more strokes and more strokes.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, they're literally going to be so dark. I got a text from her a week later being like, they are so dark. And I'm like,
well,
this is permanent. I'm like, this is scary.
No, exactly.
But on the flip side of things, I was like, this is what you wanted.
Yes.
And luckily they like lightened up and then she was okay. We just decided not to do a touch up because they were literally like solid.
Exactly. But and like, I feel like
I just remember being
you're like, yeah, when you get that text, hey girl, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know. But it just like clients sometimes think that they want something, but they don't actually, like they have this idea, like I want my brows dark, and then they get it and they're like, okay, no, like it's not fitting me.
Yeah.
And that's something I teach a lot in my class is kind of find like a happy medium of what you think looks best on somebody and then mix in with what they want specifically.
I do the same thing, like whether I'm taking clients or teaching students how to shape someone's eyes and choose the style for them, because everybody thinks they want a cat eye and nobody looks good with a cat eye except for certain eye shapes.
Yes.
And it's really hard knowing when to step in and be like, hey, I'm the expert. Let me take care of you.
Exactly.
Instead of you know what you want, because most of the time they don't.
And that's like my favorite client who sits down and they're like, I don't know, like you're the expert. Yeah. And I'm like, cool. You're in good hands.
Right? Yeah. And it's like, especially too, if you position yourself in a certain way on social media, they're coming to you for a reason because you are the expert. And I think that's something that can help you, whether you're learning to take clients or wanting to train. If you position yourself and your messaging and the way you're talking is establishing yourself as an expert in your field, they're going to trust you and basically come because they want to learn from you or because they want their brows done by you, and they don't have a lot of, and I think too, the more you do that, the more you're just attracting those clients who are chill instead of the people who are going to walk in and be like, this is what I want and why are you using that wax and my other girl did this, and it's like, okay, well, why are you here? Go back to your other girl.
Exactly.
So like
I feel like that's so common in our industry. Like when I started, I was like, hi, how's it going? Like super like just not me. Like I would have to turn something on when I would go to work. And I think once, like I had a huge wake-up call with COVID because I think
a lot of us did.
Yeah, like personally and business-wise, I was like, what am I doing? So I just like came back to work and I was like, I'm going to be my true self because I want to attract people who like me and people who I will like.
And it's so much easier to just be yourself instead of feeling like, oh, I have to be professional and I have to do this. And
it's so much easier,
act a certain way.
Yeah, especially if you're working long hours. Like sometimes I'd notice I'd like slip up and then I'd be like, oh, it was a little bit too much myself there. But it's like, why? This is my fucking business. Why am I acting like proper and posh? Like that's just not.
I used to write out my Instagram captions and it didn't sound like me at all, not even a little bit. And I think I was listening to a podcast that was talking about writing in your voice, like writing how you would write it so your audience can start to train themselves to read it in your voice.
Yes.
And one, it's just so much more relatable to be yourself. It's easier to be yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, I feel like I've made more deep connections with people the moment I actually started showing up normal instead of feeling like I had to be scripted or I had to be proper or a certain way or I had to have my makeup done and my hair done and like
exactly
solid. I mean, I rolled up today and I was like, it is what it is.
This is me.
I think I'm a real podcaster now.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Got a hat on.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about that with a client earlier today. Like we were like, oh, like, you know, most of like the podcasters, like they show up like totally no makeup, anything. And it's like, because I was like, what do I wear? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear what I want to wear.
Yeah.
And be comfortable. But yeah, I feel like, I mean, that's me when I go to work now too. Like before I was like, oh, I got to look super nice. But it's just not realistic. And we're in the beauty industry. So you think that that's like the norm.
Yeah.
But I feel like it has shifted slightly within, like every year I feel the industry is slightly different and you just kind of have to like keep up a little bit.
Yeah. Something my dad's dad always said to him was the only constant in life is change. And it is so true. And I feel like the more you're able to adapt and like grow with whatever's changing. I mean, we think about how often Instagram updates something new. Like it's all the time. And I like to look at business that way too. Like it's okay to make changes. It doesn't have to be a certain way. You don't have to run your business the exact way someone else does. Just because someone shows up in a blazer and their hair and makeup done every single time doesn't mean you have to. I roll up in sweats and a sweatshirt when I have 2 lash clients left. And when I see them, half the time I'm coming from one of my water walks with 2 of my girlfriends. And so I've like gone and walked. My shoes are sandy. I'm in yoga pants and a sweatshirt and a hat. And it's like, they're paying you for the transformation. They're paying you for the end result. They're not paying you to be in a blazer and your makeup done and hair done. But if that's what you like, do your thing. Like if that makes you feel confident and comfortable, have at it. Like my trainings, I used to wear a blazer and like do all
that was
this.
me the first one time, and then after that I was like, all right, sweatshirt.
No, I roll up in a sweatshirt. And like one time I was in like baggy sweats, like my Air Forces and a cute hoodie, and my hair was up. I did my makeup, but I was like, I feel comfortable in this. Like I don't have to feel like rigid or like I don't have to be worried about my blazer a certain way, like because I'm teaching someone something. I'm giving them the tools to go off and become more successful in their own business.
Exactly.
And
they're there for you.
They don't care what I look like.
They don't care.
No, they want what's in here.
Yeah.
They don't care about this.
Totally. Exactly. And I think that's what's so important about creating that image. Like you've done such a good job of that on Instagram, like because people know who you are and they know who they're coming to. And that's like just so important because then they'll feel comfortable before they even kind of like come in the door. Yeah. And they don't care if you're in a blazer or have makeup on.
No, not at all. And I feel like that's something I didn't realize was like okay or important to just show up as I was until I started meeting people out in the real world, and they're like, oh, you're exactly like you are on social media. Like I thought you were going to be so different. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
But like, I get it. I've met people from Instagram and it's like they portray to be super nice or super a certain way or like funny and loud. And it's like they're not that in real life.
Yeah.
So it's
They're like the quiet one in the corner.
I'm like, no, I'm
You're
definitely
like, wait.
I'm like, I couldn't even pretend to be somebody else at this point. I feel like it's, and again, too, it's knowing who you are and being confident in what you have to offer and just rolling with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you see 2 lash clients now?
I have 2 left and they're OGs.
Right.
One used to see me at the house, when my parents' house, when I worked from there.
Yeah.
And then the other one has been with me since I worked at my first salon. So she's my OG.
Yeah. We love the OGs. Yeah.
It's so funny.
They're my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
sorry,
like,
guys.
almost sentimental.
Yeah. Like, you've been supporting me from the beginning. Like,
when I was trash, when I was such a bad lash artist and retention was horrible, they stuck with me.
They were like, I still believe in you.
Yeah.
And look at you now. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
It's wild. It's so crazy. And I feel like too, like they have celebrated me so much along the way too, which is so nice because they're not family or friends that like should support you, you know? They like don't have any obligation to, but like when someone outside of your like inner circle is just genuinely happy for you, it's like it's so cool.
Exactly.
It's like insane.
It's
I feel
always
so
the people
grateful.
you don't expect.
Yeah. I want to touch on, okay, so first of all, congratulations. You just got engaged recently.
Thank you.
How has your relationship been with owning a business? Do you feel like it's easy to like shut it off when you come home and like have your home life, or is that sometimes hard?
Yeah, he's always like, actually, you know what? I have gotten better at it. Riley, if you're listening. He, for a long time, he was like, you gotta shut your brain off. Like, it's not healthy. And
it's hard.
Yeah, it's so hard. And I also feel like, I mean, he has a job. He obviously has a job, but like he clocks in and out. And he's like, he's the type who will not talk about work, which I really appreciate and love that about him, because it's like, he doesn't get wrapped up in little stuff, but like then there's me, and I mean, you can't not think about it all the time.
Especially when you're so passionate about it.
Yeah, exactly. And he loves that. But he's like, you know, he loves quality time. That's like his love language. Yeah. So when when my day's done and I've seen clients for 10 hours and then I get home and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't posted anything in like a month, or not really a month, but it feels like a month. And I'm like writing up something really fast. And he's like, what are you doing?
He's like, pay attention to me.
Yeah, he's like, we're watching a show. Like, phone off. I'm like, okay. But
like, I can multitask.
Yeah. I'm like looking at
you're typing what you're hearing. I do that all the time.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, time to shut your brain off. But I appreciate that, because it's like, I know that I need to shut my brain off, or at least like clock out for my mental health. So it's like, it's nice to have somebody remind me, like, you can do that tomorrow.
Yeah. Because it's easy to get to that burnout point where it's like you're doing it so much that it's just, it never ends. Yeah. You never have a break from it.
Yeah. But it's actually interesting because we were together before I had a business.
Oh, okay.
So it's funny because I think about it, and before I started beauty school, I was enrolled to go to community college, and I just knew it was not for me. Yeah. And he was like, I told him, I was like, I want to go to beauty school and like do aesthetics, but I'm like terrified because it's so competitive, which is like so funny now. And he's actually the one he was like, Sara, like
fully supportive.
Yeah. He was like, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And next day I was enrolled and did it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Actually, I would give him like half the credit.
Oh, that's really, really special. Yeah. Especially like, I think about how lucky I am to have a really supportive family. And at that time, starting school, I was single, but like having a supportive partner to just back you up in whatever you want to do and say like, yeah, you can achieve anything you want to. Like, it's huge because not a lot of people have that. Yeah. Not a lot of people have positive influences in their lives. And it's really incredible when you find people who genuinely want you to succeed and want you to go after everything you want to.
Exactly. So he's definitely been my support system
And he was a doorman at your
He
event. I think that was so fun.
He killed it. Him and his buddy Colton, they killed it.
That was really funny.
I was like, we need doormen. There were so many things that we didn't even think about, but I was like, okay, well, if people are buying tickets, like we need somebody to like check them in and like have them like, because we needed name tags and like we needed, because people by their Instagram handle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, babe, do you want to like be the doorman? And he literally was like, if you take me to Angles after.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
That's something I can do. So
like, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any green tea shots? Are you guys green tea shot fans?
No, I actually don't think I've ever had a green tea shot.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
a tequila
shot I get
takers. But
cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, we recently adopted the whole green tea shot thing.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that quite a bit.
It's become a habit.
Yeah.
Anytime we're out for the whole table. It's Jameson, peach schnapps, sour mix, and Sprite.
Oh.
Yeah. It tastes really good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm honestly surprised. So sugary, but so good.
Yeah. How do you feel after?
Oh, man.
In the morning?
Well, if I only have 3.
Only 3.
Not bad. But if I go more than 3, I feel like I get that like headache. Yeah. I feel like I don't have like horrible hangovers, but I just get a dull headache and just like tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try not to go too crazy these days.
Me too. And it's funny because I'm only 24. So I feel like I had my days in high school. So now I'm like I turned 21. I was like, I'm over this.
By the time I was 21, I was like, I don't even need to go to a bar.
Yeah.
Because we had fakes when we were like 18, 19.
Right.
And we were just getting in everywhere.
Yeah. It's easy.
Especially when it's nice out though, summer, and especially being in Edmonds, I'm like, I want to go to like happy hour. And then everybody just wants to come out when it's nice out.
This is probably such a cool town to be from. Like, I love this area.
It's really cute. Yeah. It's nice, like living close.
Yeah. I would love to live here. I live in Everett.
Oh, okay.
In the ghetto.
A little while away.
Yeah. But it's
not too bad. Do you have anything new or exciting like coming up with your business, or anything you want to try next?
I feel like, my next thing would probably be finding a bigger space. But I'm not quite sure. I'm on my 2nd year at this place by myself. And I love it. I would hate to leave. It's so cute. I just wish it was a little bigger.
Yeah. Just a tiny
just
bit
a
bigger.
little, like double the size would probably be fine. Because, it would be nice to have somebody. I'm a little bit scared of like sharing my space. Yeah. Because I've done it. And I feel like I would love to have like, it's weird. I would love to have like my own chair, like my own room, and then have somebody like a separate chair like you have here. Just because I like where my things are. Yeah,
I get that.
I would hate to come to work and have my stuff like
moved around.
Yeah. So
I totally know what you mean.
But yeah, that's really like the next step, I think. And I think probably bringing on more trainings as well. I have thought about like lash lifting. But I love that you have like really done a lot of like mindset, and like I love that that's your kind of your new thing. So how's that been like transitioning from mainly training lashes and microblading, right, to kind of more coaching?
I feel like it's been actually not that hard. Like I thought it was going to be a harder shift, but the more I started talking about my own mindset and my own struggles with anxiety, or my struggles with like decision making around what to do for the business, it's relatable, and people struggle with those same things. And I feel like anyone who's training, you're literally training your previous self. Like think about all the struggles, all the fears, all the goals that you had before you started doing anything. Yeah. And like those are the people that you're marketing to, and that are meant to be trained by you because they're previous you. And so basically, that is so true. When I started talking about my fears or my struggles and the things that I was dealing with, even though it felt scary to be vulnerable, and like if I'm like you know, wanting people to pay me to be their coach. Like, should I really be talking about this shit I'm dealing with? But because it's relatable and people see that and they're like, I went through that same thing, or like, that's what I'm currently struggling with. I just keep saying relatable, but it's more relatable. And they are like, okay, you've overcome this. I'm currently in this stage, so I need to talk to you about this. And I feel like a lot, like sometimes when people hire me as a coach, they don't really know how much I go into mindset because it comes down to your subconscious thoughts. And it like, that's how you have to rewire your brain. And like, I mean, even 2 years ago, I've never really been a negative person, but I would let negative things affect me so much, and it would send me into a spiral, or I would just really struggle with anxiety. And I had to do so much subconscious rewiring to get to the place of like joy and peace that I am now. And of course there's gonna be like hills, peaks and valleys, but like looking at me just talking about it more, I feel like people were like, oh, like I think it is the mindset thing that I need. And then the lash stuff is a bonus, or the social media stuff is a bonus. And like, it's something I've been passionate about for a long time now. And I finally have felt like, okay, I'm in a position where I can start talking about mindset and adding value and helping other people with their own mindset.
I definitely think that it's so real to bring it up, because if you look at someone's Instagram and they look like it's just everything is perfect, it's just not realistic. And I love that you talk about anxiety. Like I'm like, does every business owner have anxiety? I swear it's so common, and we all are so just in our own heads about a lot of stuff sometimes. And it's nice to just like be able to talk about that with each other. And like talking to somebody who's been in a mindset that you were in before, that you kind of broke out of. And I think that mindset is so important being a business owner, and understanding that sometimes you are the one standing in your way. Just like keeping you, I would say, more
often than not.
Keeping you from progressing. But I definitely like a lot of Audibles mindset books, and like it's just, you have to like be aware of how you're talking to yourself and you know, treating yourself, because like what you put out, like what you give to yourself, you're gonna put out into the world.
100%. I heard this quote, I'm gonna butcher it, and it's this gal Lisa Nichols, and she says, your inner thoughts are your outer world manifestation. And it's like, it's so true. What you're thinking is what you attract. And I'm a huge firm believer of like, our minds are powerful.
Absolutely.
And like, really what we're saying to ourselves is like, if you think about it, like we're creating our future person every single day. We're either working out or we're eating shitty. We're either, you know, every choice we make is changing and determining who we're becoming. And the way that you talk to yourself, like I used to have to put sticky notes on my mirror to tell myself to be nice to myself.
Totally. My sister does that. Cheyenne.
Like I
she
had
always
to
has sticky notes everywhere.
Stuff like that all the time, because I was mean to myself. And it's like, we would never talk to anyone else the way that we talk to ourselves.
And I feel like I always tell myself this too, like you are what you eat, and you are what you do and what you consume, and you are who you hang out with. That's like one thing my mom has always told me. And it's just whatever you're, like putting yourself around, you're going to become that. And I notice a huge difference. Like when I eat like shit and don't work out, don't take care of my body, like I am shit.
You feel it.
Like
brain fog, everything.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. Like you really, I feel like, a good business comes like if somebody is a good person all around, like a well-rounded person who takes care of themselves, like you're gonna have a good business if you're doing that. So
well, and I feel like too, like going back to like the eating piece of things, or like working out, like I like to follow the 80-20 rule.
Yeah,
I like
too.
The 20%. Like we've got our cookie dough here, we're gonna have later. Like you have to like also let yourself indulge, because I feel like you can go on either end of the spectrum, and either end of the spectrum is unhealthy.
Yes.
And like having that little bit of balance, or that little bit of fun, or
balance,
little
healthy
bit of green tea shots.
Yeah,
like
we love green tea.
You know, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether 80-20, that be scrolling,
I always
or
say that.
binge watching TV.
Right. And some days you just want to do that. And that's fine.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what's it like being a brand ambassador for, is it London Brow Company?
Yeah, for London Brow Company. It's really
Did they
great.
reach out to you or did you reach out to them? What did that process look like?
So I actually would, when I was posting just like so much content, trying to get like out there to get a lot of clients, any product that I would use, I would tag.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I just got noticed by them because I kept tagging them over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also the brand that I trained with online.
Okay.
So yeah, I just like, they're the brand that I started with and I just love them so much. But it was they actually did reach out to me and they started like reposting my stuff. And then I was like, oh my God. And then because they're all the way famous. They're all the way in Europe. So I was like, that's pretty
so
cool. Yeah. And like the Europe and like Australia brow game is like, they're amazing. Same with Russia too. Like they all are
Russia, everything.
Seriously, it's insane. So it was cool to kind of get that connection as well, all the way across the world. So they did reach out to me, and it really is just like about, you get a contract, you sign it, you look over it, obviously. But they kind of, whenever they launch a new product, they'll send you it so you can try it, or they're trying something out and like you can give them feedback. And it's really just about kind of like promoting their brand. But I do think it's really important to do that for a brand that you truly love.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't a brand that I like use all the time. So
it's hard to pretend you like something.
Yeah. Like why?
Pretend like saying nice things about it. Well, then too, like it's your reputation, because if it's a shit product and someone buys it and then it's like, why did she like this? Like I thought I trusted her. Like they're not going to buy anything that you recommend or you end up selling ever again.
Exactly. So
do they have like a minimum number of posts per month or anything like that? Like you have guidelines to follow?
Somewhat. It's more like they'll send us, if they have like a new product coming out, they'll send
like
us
a media kit or something.
Yeah, they'll be like, promote this or whatever. But I do also want to make sure that my feed doesn't look salesy.
Yeah,
I don't love that. I want it to seem genuine, which it is. So they do have like lash lift kits and stuff like that, which I do love. But I like my feed to be a lot of brows. So they do send me reels or like stuff to post, or they'll be like, send us your stuff for like our records and all this stuff. But it's not like a major like guideline. But yeah, it's kind of like I just tag them, and and sometimes I do get ideas from them when they're like, hey, like post about this, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's easy. Like I didn't have to think about what to do. So yeah. So
with them, do you get a discount code for purchasing, and then do you have a discount code you can share with your followers, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, is there any kickback there? Like, do you have an affiliate link, or what does that look like?
Yeah. So they, I have a discount, and then also, yeah, like for, I think it's like one purchase for my clients as well, because they have a lot of aftercare.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that's cool too. And then I believe I do have a link for like other people in the industry to get a discount. And I believe they did just set up like a whole like kickback situation, but I can't imagine it would be like a whole lot.
Yeah.
But that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know it's so different brand to brand, so I'm always just curious what other people do. And I think too, it depends on if it's like a smaller brand starting out, or like some of these massive brands like have all the marketing budget to do whatever they want with, and then they can do bigger affiliate links, and it's wild.
It was actually like pretty cool to be for them to reach out to me, because like I said, I've been using them since I started Lamination in 2019. And yeah, it's kind of like you set these goals in your mind, and then when they happen, you're kind of like, all right, what's next?
Totally. We just talked about that, and like celebrating the little things, but it's hard. It's hard. It's so easy as a business owner to be, because we're constantly on doing things on to the next task, that it's like, it's hard to sit back and be like, no, like this is a big accomplishment. Like this is really cool. I should celebrate. But we're so quick to go, right to the next goal. Like, okay, what's next? What's after that?
Yeah.
Like, what's the next thing I want to accomplish?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, like 2 years ago, I would have been like, that's sick. Like, hello.
And now we're just kind of like, okay.
I'm like, sweet.
Yep.
They posted me.
Makes
awesome.
sense, I guess. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely like I have to sit back sometimes and like think that it's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brows are all the rage right now.
They really are. And it's funny because when I started school, it was lashes. Like lashes were the thing. Yeah. And I feel like then a lot of people were going to school specifically to do lash extensions. And it's kind of funny because they don't really teach you. I mean, when I was in school, they don't teach you.
Us, yeah.
So it's really like you just go to get your aesthetics license to like.
And then take a training from someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
even though the schools say they teach lash extensions, I think most of them, because my sister is almost graduating cosmetology, and part of their curriculum was lash extensions. But like one of their instructors, like, takes a basic class and then doesn't ever do lashes and then just regurgitates the information. So it's not really like what you would be looking for.
Right.
And so I think that's tough for people who do want to go to school to do lashes now, is like, you're gonna have to take another training. You're just absolutely going to have to take a like beginner course from someone who actually does or did and like trains in lashes, because there's so much room for error, especially when you're working on someone's eyes.
Yeah. I feel like that's forgotten sometimes with the lash industry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's insane.
But it's funny now because I feel like, okay, like 2016 brows, like those were like the Instagram brows. But now it's more like fluffy, like full, natural.
Almost, yeah.
And that's
natural bushy brows are in.
Yeah, totally. Which has been always me.
I wish. I literally have like 10 brow hairs and like mine are tattooed, so I have the powder brows.
Yeah.
But I started having the girls here laminate my brows over it because my hairs are like fuzzy and like stick out off my face.
Yeah, it's nice to have them flat and like slicked down.
I'm like, I need them to look like something. But I love the way it looks. So like I'm always envious of people who have like full beautiful brows to begin with. I'm like, if only. It
wasn't always rainbows. Like when you're a kid and you have fucking unibrow.
Or like anytime I see a guy with full like beautiful eyebrows, I'm like, why do you have those?
Totally.
I don't.
Oof. Riley and I's kids are gonna be like
full brow babies. Oh my gosh,
I swear he has fuller brows than me. And I'm like, how's that even possible?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Too good.
Do you feel like brows will, like, I know there's always like trends. Do you feel like we're going to go back to like the more sculpted Instagram brow?
I was kind of scared for a second because I feel like even like the 90s brow was kind of like with the Gen Z.
I hope that never comes back.
On TikTok, I was like, no.
Are they doing it?
They were doing it.
Go away, Gen Z.
For a minute. I was like, whoa. There was like a thin brow filter. And people like, and like, you know, when like the Pamela Anderson movie came out, everyone was like, wait, it's kind of a vibe. I'm like, it is not a vibe. No. Like it can be on some people, but
I think it depends.
I'm still like rehabbing eyebrows for people from the 90s. Like,
or I hate like when they have like the full bulb and then it's just like
the sperm brows.
Sperm brow. Like it's so bad. I've like microbladed so many people's to fix, and I'm like, you know that looks so much better.
Seriously, like just.
But like when you're waxing them, what do you do? Do you just like take off the bottom, or do you let everything fill in?
So that's really a lot of what I do. I feel like with lamination is I first of all tell my clients to stop touching them because they're so programmed to touch them.
Alone.
Yeah. So yeah, I tell them to stop touching them, and then we lam them, and then basically like the brows that I would normally grab, I just push them up into the brow. Yeah. And then a tint helps a lot because you kind of fill in that like gap there.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times it's kind of, it's like a 2-person job because I'm like, you throw away your tweezers right now.
Oh my gosh.
Right when you get home.
It's so tough.
But yeah, I have a lot of people who get in my chair and they're like, I'm a victim of the 90s brow.
Oh no.
And
you're like, I got you. Don't you
I'm
worry.
like, don't worry.
You came to the right place.
I'm like, give me like 3 months on like a strict
no
see you every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think I can make it work.
Yeah.
But like brow serums too.
Yeah.
Those help a lot.
Do you have one you like?
I use a lot of I sell a lot of Babe Lash actually. And
they
also,
have a brow one, don't they?
Yeah, they just came out with one like I say just, but I think it was like a year ago.
Yeah.
And that's I haven't tried it, but I just usually have my clients use the lash serum right in like the areas that need it most, and then just like leave them alone, let them live.
Do you have any advice for anyone wanting to get into the beauty industry, into doing brows, anything like that? I know we kind of touched on like you just saying just fuck it, like do what you want to do, but is there anything else like or any actionable steps that they can take to move in the right direction? I guess
just like I don't know, I feel like understand that beauty school is kind of like just one stepping
safety
stone.
And sanitation. You gotta get done, and then after that you take all the classes you want.
Exactly. Like continuing your education is so important. And just making sure that you're looking out for yourself. Because like I said, in this industry it can be a little I guess scary, and if you feel like you can do it on your, like that's one regret I have. I feel like I didn't believe I could do it on my own. And I guess just believe that like you can do it, and you can do really anything you set your mind to. That's like a lot about mindset, like we talked about. Like it's important to like just have your own back and make sure, and like just know that like beauty school is going to be the worst part about it. Because it's really just, it's a lot of hours and it's intimidating. It's really intimidating. But and then I guess just do what you want to do from the beginning.
Only post photos of the services you want to do.
Yes, exactly. Because I was like doing like full body sugaring.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I started in a sugaring salon. So I was like, doing full body sugaring, and I was like, this is not for me. But I kept doing it for a while. But so do what you want to do. Don't listen to anybody else. I guess that's it. What would you have? What would your advice be?
I think kind of along the same lines. Just like do what you want to do. Continue to learn. Like I don't even take clients anymore besides my 2, and I still try to take a lash class a year or a business class or something like that. Like identify an area that you're struggling or lacking in knowledge and go take a course to help you with that, because you're going to be so much further along than if you try to learn it on your own. Like don't try to do things the trial and error way. Like actually seek expert help, because
100%.
Every single time I've hired a coach or taken a course, it's propelled me so much further than I could have ever gotten on my own.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's the littlest tips and tricks that you get that you're like, finally, like a light bulb moment.
Like there are so many things that you have taught me specifically, like even like on Instagram or something, but mostly like little dates here and there that you and I've had and where we're talking, and it's just like you just have like a light bulb moment where you're like, oh yeah, like why am I so stuck in my head? You just sometimes have to have somebody else tell you like what,
like almost give you permission.
And because we are like, I know we all are so hard on ourselves.
It's so easy to be.
So it's the easy way out. But I feel like definitely don't be afraid to ask for help.
And get out of your own way.
The mountain is you.
Honestly.
So just gotta like get through that and then believe in what you want to do.
I feel like it's a good place to end, unless you have anything you want to add.
Did you guys get any questions?
Nothing came through. People
literally nothing. Everyone was like, I'm so excited. And I'm like,
okay. That's the messages I got. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so fun.
Can't wait. They're like, not a question, but can't wait. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I got, what is your favorite service? That's the one question I got, but like I think it's pretty
We've
obvious.
Answered. We gave the people what they wanted.
So Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys loved this episode. Thank you so much for being here, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
appreciate you coming down and joining us on the pod. Like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified every single time we go live Thursdays at 10 a.m. Leave us a comment on this video for a chance to win a t-shirt, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.